Hi there, welcome back to the Home Studio for Beginners series here on the Record Mix Repeat channel. I'm your host, Rusty Smith. Today's the day we finally start doing some recording. Enough with the talking. We're going to mic up an acoustic guitar, record that guitar on a track and a DAW along with a simple drum part. Then we're going to plug in a bass guitar and record it on another track along with that acoustic guitar and those drums. So let's get going. All right, here we go. We're going to record an acoustic guitar. So to do that, we're going to put a mic in front of it, okay? Now I picked out a very simple microphone here. This is a $70 microphone. It's a Shure SM57. This is what I was talking about in one of the earlier episodes about an industry standard microphone. This thing right here, this is, look, I got my initials on there so nobody would steal it when I sat in with them. Industry standard microphone. You've seen these before. You've probably used them in a band. So, put it right there. Now, placement. Here's the guitar. We're going to use this little acoustic guitar here. The microphone, if you notice, it's kind of pointing right here. I'm not pointing it at the hole or back here. And I've got it, maybe, let's look, maybe a foot away, okay? It'll pick up the guitar like your ears pick up the guitar. It's a dynamic mic, not a fancy microphone, okay? All right, now we're going to take that sucker and plug it into our interface, our little simple interface that we've been talking about in all the episodes up until now, right? This UMC 202 HD. To make sure it's working, strum it, and I see the little green light here. Great. All right, and here's, if we need it louder, we can turn it up louder. So, we know we're getting to the interface. That's a good thing. Okay, so now we got to get into some software. So we're going to do this in Studio One, the digital audio workstation Studio One. This digital audio workstation has features that just about everybody else has, and so it should translate well with regard to whatever you've got. The song we're going to do today does have a little drum part I put together to keep time, okay? Because the song's centered around that groove, and I did not want the guitar to be the foundation of rhythm. I wanted a little drum part. So here, let's take a look at that right now so you can get an idea of what's going on. Simple kick drum loop right here. And it sounds like this. So that's the verse part. Then when we get to the chorus, there's a snare drum part on 2 and 4 all the way through, and the snare drum gives us a little count off. So, I've got the arrangement of the song already laid out, and I'll show you in another video how I put that together, but for right now we're talking about acoustic guitar and bass. So here we go. Here's Studio One. I showed you the bass and the snare drum part. I've created a track, and it's called AGT, and you see it right here. Oops, don't want to do that. That's volume. And we're going to be monitoring through the software. I talked about latency and sample rates, etc., earlier in another video. And there's ways to avoid latency totally, but we're not going to do that. We're going to work with the sample rate while we're recording through the software. We're going to listen through the software. In Preferences, we go to the Audio Setup page. I've already set the device block size to 64 samples. Now, there's the audio device, which means the Behringer UMC audio interface, and here it is. The playback device and the recording device are the same thing. Now, the processing is Studio One. That's Studio One right there. And they have dropout protection, okay? Well, I've got it on minimum because the software is not going to be working very hard here because there's very little going on, all right? And 64 is as low as this software will go with this interface while I'm monitoring the guitar through the headphones. Now you can see our round trip is almost 10 milliseconds. That's a fair amount of latency, but that's as low as we're going to be able to get it monitoring through the software. Now, you can see my voice triggering the microphone already because it can hear me as I talk. I have the mic plugged into input 1 on the Behringer. You see that we have N1 and N2, and then on input 3 through 8, it says none. Well, typically I have another interface that I use that uses 8 inputs, and it's not seeing those, so it's only seeing 1 and 2. I'm plugged into 1, so that's the reason we're hearing it. If I change it to input 2, well, you don't see it. You know what I mean? It's gone. So input 1, we know the mic's plugged in there, okay? Now, what we're going to do is got to get a level. Okay, I'm looking over at the meter on the software. I'm looking here, okay. I know it could be louder, so I'm going to go here and turn up the input. That's about right, about 80%, 75%. Perfect. Okay. Now, I'm not doing anything else. I'm just going into the Behringer, and I'm not using any other gear, any EQ, anything, okay? Because we're just doing a simple thing right here. We can do compression and EQ later if we need to. Having a microphone live in the room, we're not going through the speakers. We're going to listen in headphones. Here's our headphones. Boom. Plug them in. Now I'm going to see if I can hear. Ooh, it's loud. There we go. That seems about right. Okay, great. All right, I've got a mix that sounds okay in my headphones right now. Lucked out on that one. The mix that I am in my headphones is controlled right here. You also notice on a plug-in here, I've got a tuner. Love that. You want to be in tune. If you record out of tune, well, you got to redo it, because unless it's the only instrument. Okay, great. Now, some of you will know what this song is the second I start playing. Some of you may not. Doesn't make any difference. I just hope I don't get sued doing it. We'll go to the top and hit record, and let's lay this down. They fade out on the record, so we probably would have faded out by now. Great, so we've got our acoustic guitar recorded with our drum track, and now we're going to overdub a bass guitar. Got a nice jazz bass here with some flat wound strings on it. Always good to have a choice. Have a bass guitar with some round wounds, have a bass guitar with some flat wounds. Got a cord plugged into it, and here's the other end of the cord. We're going to go into input number 2 on our Behringer. Plugged into input number 2. I turn the bass up, pluck it, and here we are. We see we've got our green light there. Very nice. Okay, software. Back in Studio One. Well, we have our 3 tracks here that we can see. Right there, we have our kick, snare, and acoustic guitar. Let's create a new track. Label it bass. It's an audio track, we know that. It's a mono track, and the input, we just plugged it into 2, so we're going to select number 2. And there we go, gives us a bass track. Pluck it. Ooh, look at that. There it is right there, we see it. Input number 2, pretty cool. Now, that red dot, if I don't have it, we don't see anything. Record, we get a level. Don't hear anything, what's the deal? It's because we got to click on this little icon that says monitor. You see that right there, it says monitor. So now that we did that, how about that? We hear it. Pretty darn nice. I like that. So, one of the wonderful things we can do in this software, add a tuner. You can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish. Awesome. So now, the beauty of this, being a direct instrument and no microphone being used, we have the option now of listening through the speakers. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like that. Let's play our track. Ooh, that's loud. Well, first thing we're going to have to do is turn that bass guitar up. There we go. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to play. So let's do this. I'll probably screw it up. I'm going to back off on the treble. Level looks good. Let's do this. I knew it was going to stop there because I'm looking at it. How about that? Oh, there's my voice from previous. Boom. Pretty cool. All right. I think we got it.
Well, we certainly did. Thus concluding part 1 of episode 4 entitled Time to Record, Finally. In part 2, we're going to do a little bit of mixing and use a few plugins. You're going to want to see that so you can get your mix on. If you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button because you're going to want to see all these episodes so you'll become a fantastic home studio recording engineer, thus becoming the envy of all your friends. For the Record and Mix Repeat channel, I'm your host, Rusty Smith. Thanks for watching.